Hey guys, welcome back to Ben & Brewing's channel. If you haven't been here before, we do product reviews, tutorials, and we have a live chat feature in our website to help you through your Brew Day 911s. Check it out at benandbrewing.com. Today we're actually tackling an issue that we've gotten a lot of feedback on from iGulu users. There's kind of a weak point in their system, and it involves the keg. Let's check it out. All right, so a quick reminder before we get started today. Today's video is sponsored by iGulu. You'll find the 20% off coupon linked below if you wish to purchase the iGulu F1 or S1. That is an affiliate link. It does go to support our channel. One other quick shout out too before we get started. I want to talk about the beer that I have in front of me today. This beer is absolutely delicious. It is a result of a collaboration between Ben & Brewing and Simple Machine Brewing Company located in Arizona. If you happen to be in the Arizona area, look up Simple Machine. This beer is called the Turntable Session. It's in honor of our 30th episode on our podcast, the Hot Break Craft Beer Cast. Definitely check that out if you like listening to podcasts that talk to brewers and talk all things brewing. We're very excited to do it. It is fantastic. We're very excited for the opportunity. All right, let's talk about our video topic for today. So we're actually talking about something specific with the iGulu that we've gotten a lot of chat on our website about. So we've received a lot of chat comments on our website, and I've gotten several emails, and it's something I've experienced myself. It's an issue with the iGulu's Triton keg. There is one specific flaw that seems to occur if you're not careful with your brewing technique. It's very frustrating, but it's actually pretty easy to troubleshoot, and once you figure out what it is, the fix for it is actually relatively simple. We're going to talk about that today. There's something you can actually do too to prevent it from happening entirely, and it is something we've recommended from day one for those Triton kegs. Stick around to the end of the video and we'll talk about it. All right, so let's talk about some of the symptoms to help you identify if you have this specific issue. The Triton keg itself has kind of a weak point, as I mentioned before, and it's really in the kind of serving tube disconnect at the top. And there's two things that you need to look out for. One is excessive foaming. Now, if you've got a new beer that you've just tapped, it's going to foam up quite a bit because it is fresh. The CO2 hasn't equalized, and usually after a couple of days, it tends to settle down. However, if you notice it is still foaming after that, or if you've got a non-carbonated beverage that tends to foam a lot and sputter, you definitely have something actually clogged inside of this disconnect. The other thing to keep an eye out for is if the flow is kind of irregular. You start to pour a beer and it comes out at a normal pace, like normal, and then it starts to kind of sputter a little bit or stop completely, and then you have to stop it and then you reopen it and it starts and stops, and that means you have an even bigger clog inside of that serving tube disconnect. When that happens, you can even try to unclamp your serving tube clamp that kind of helps regulate the pressure on it, and if it's wide open and you're still having those issues, you definitely have a clog. The first thing you want to do is go ahead and take the lid off of your Triton keg or just unscrew your disconnect. You can go ahead and pull the dip tube out as well. Keep your serving line attached. You're gonna undo that clip all the way and make sure you're doing this over like a rag or a tub or a glass or something, and try to blow through the serving tube. This is important. You wanna blow the opposite direction of the flow of the liquid, because whatever's in there is probably on the underside of your disconnect. Blowing it the opposite direction, hopefully if it's big, it should blow it out. We had an issue with that where it stopped completely because we had done a kombucha and a little bit of SCOBY, little colony, had actually gotten up in the dip tube and had clogged it, and we couldn't get it out. By me blowing the opposite direction, it actually boop, popped it right out, and the flow worked just fine. You should really encounter no resistance at all when you're blowing backwards through that serving line. If you are experiencing resistance or you can't blow through it at all, you definitely have a clog. Once you've established that there's a clog, go ahead and take apart your serving line disconnect, take off the dip tube, take off the serving line itself, and see if you can inspect inside to see if you can see anything. Now, you probably have to take a flashlight and really look and see if there's anything in there. That's gonna be difficult to do because it is very, very small. I've attempted to take apart that piece. I'm not sure if, and it's plastic, so I don't want to scratch it or break it. I don't know if it's melted together or glued together and it's not designed to come apart. So iGulu, if you're watching this, let me know. Is this designed to come apart to clean it, or is it really sealed together to prevent leaks? All right, so this fix is not 100% guaranteed, but it's been about 80% effective on all of the issues that we've had with it. Additionally, it's actually a good idea to do this even if you don't have a clog. It's just part of regular maintenance on anything that comes into contact with beer. Beer has protein in it, it can build up beer stone, and this is a good way to make sure that you're removing those solids, those organic solids that are in the tubing from the beer, and it makes sure that you can keep everything sanitary and you don't get any crossover flavor from batch to batch. So there's a couple things you're gonna need to make sure that you can do this. You have two options as far as what cleaning chemical you want to use. You can either use PBW, powder brewery wash, which if you don't have that on hand, definitely get some if you're brewing because it's great for removing a lot of organic material, especially when you're done brewing. Keeps your kegs nice and bright and sharp without scratching the inside, because you definitely don't want to do that. The other option is you can use what's called BLC, or beer line cleaner. It is designed more for removing a lot of the beer stone that's in the beer line, so either one will kind of work in this case. If you're trying to remove a clog, I would recommend the PBW because it is good at removing bigger chunks of the organic solids. If you're just doing kind of a maintenance clean and trying to make sure nothing builds up in there, the BLC will work fine. The other thing you'll need is a secondary keg lid. You really need to have one keg that you can completely seal up that has a good working serving line disconnect, so that you can take the one that's clogged and use this to clean this. That's going to be kind of important. So you don't have to hook it up to another keg. You don't have to hook it up to the lid. You can clean it in place like this, but you do need something to hold the cleaning chemical. Next, you're going to need kind of a serving line jumper. You can make one of these using an existing iGulu tubing and a quick disconnect. We actually happen to have one because we have their bottle filling or keg filling kit, and it comes with a jumper, so it's a little bit extra long, and that actually makes it work really, really nice. Finally, you're gonna need to make sure your iGulu is nearby. You're gonna be utilizing this in air mode, not CO2 mode. Let's save that CO2. Use it in air mode to help push the chemical out and hopefully flush out whatever's jammed in here. All right, so now that you've assembled all the equipment you're gonna need to kind of do this cleaning process, let's run through the steps very quickly. It's actually very simple, it's not that complicated. Take your cleaning chemical of choice, be it PBW or beer line cleaner, BLC, sorry, too many acronyms. Either gather one of those, go ahead and put it into your clean keg or your empty keg, and again, make sure the lid has the serving disconnect that works. That's the one you wanna keep in this keg. Go ahead and put your chemical in there and then add as hot of water as you can get your hands on. Now don't do it off the stove, don't boil because we don't want to melt this thing, but the hottest tap water you can get out of your tap will be perfectly fine. The hotter the better. The more temperature you're able to apply to that cleaning chemical, the better it will work, the faster it will work, and hopefully loosen up anything that might be in here. So once you have everything in your keg, go ahead and put the lid on it, go ahead and seal it up because you're going to be applying pressure to it. Maybe give it a little shake to make sure that all the chemical is mixed up and dissolved into solution. And then go ahead and load it into your iGulu. Go ahead and hook up the pressure monitor to the lid of your Triton keg and set it for air mode. You might have to go into like cooling, and it gives you the option to either do CO2 or air mode. Do the air mode. It is gonna try to cool the keg down, but you're only doing this for 3 or 4 minutes. It's not gonna make a big difference. Once that's done, go ahead and take your little jumper cable, make sure that your clamp in the middle is closed. You don't want to spray cleaning solution everywhere. Pop it onto the keg that is now under pressure in your iGulu and attach the other end to your problematic serving disconnect. Once that's done, you're going to want to be running this off into some sort of a container, be that a large glass, another Triton keg if you happen to have one. All of that will work fine. You'll hook it up, release the clamp, and let the stuff start to flow. I really recommend letting the entire gallon of liquid flush through the entire thing. You don't just want to do a little bit, because if there is, say, some built up beer stone in there, the contact time is going to be important to let it continue to flush and chew away at some of those organic solids. Once you've transferred all the liquid, or like 90% of the liquid, go ahead and look at the resulting stuff that came out, if anything. Hopefully, with any luck, you see some pretty good chunks of maybe hop matter or a SCOBY or some spices or whatever you've been brewing with in the resulting liquid. And if that's the case, great, it's gonna be time to test. If you don't see a whole lot, as was the case when we were cleaning our part, we did see a little bit of hop particulate, but we didn't really see a whole lot, so I wasn't 100% sure if it would clear it out. So we're gonna test it to find out. Okay, so let's say as an example, you run through that cleaning method and you've tried to flush it out and you're seeing some particulates, but you've tested it and it still clogs. It's important to not reuse that chemical that you just ran through it, because there are little hot particulates or whatever's in there. You do not want to send them back in to get restuck. If you're gonna run a second cycle on it, make sure you do a fresh batch of chemical. In our case, when we tried it, unfortunately it did not clear out the clog. So next what you can do is, and this may not work, this is kind of a desperate thing, you can try to get in there with something to try to pull out whatever is inside. Now, I recommend like a very, very soft pipe cleaner. Don't use a bristle brush or anything harsh. The last thing you want to do is scratch the inside of the plastic that's in here, because that can harbor bacteria that you cannot sanitize, and you end up infecting everything you pour out of your iGulu. So just buyer beware. This is something that you want to use something soft, and you want to put it in the end where the stuff might be jammed up. And you can kind of spin it, you can jam it in and out, and just try to pull out whatever's in there. The good news too with the pipe cleaner, because it is absorbent, hopefully it kind of sucks whatever's in there that last little bit. After doing that, you could even run it through another cleaning cycle, because maybe you knock some stuff loose, and so now it's able to be flushed out. Ooh, actually, you know what? I think I just pulled something out of there. Well, we'll have to test it again and see if it works. But basically, once that's done, you've tried to flush it, you've tried to scrub it as gently as possible, and it doesn't work, you're gonna be kind of out of luck. Unfortunately, once that clogs and you can't get the stuff out of it, you're stuck with it. Now, the good news is iGulu does sell the keg lids on their own. So you don't have to buy an entire Triton keg. It'll come with a new lid, a new disconnect, a new dip tube, and a new serving tube. So it's about 30 bucks. Not ideal, but it's cheaper than a full Triton keg. And if you don't need to replace the whole keg, because they're pretty hardy and they'll hold up for quite a while, at least that gives you an option to replace it and keep your iGulu and your beer making rolling. All right, so thank you guys for watching all the way through to the end of our video. Here's our final tip to keep your Triton keg from clogging. And this is something we've recommended really since day one, as I saw it as potentially an issue. And of course, I didn't follow my own advice. We have several Triton kegs, and I did not use the solution that I'm gonna talk about, the Float It 2.0, the floating dip tube on a couple of our kegs. And what I feared would happen actually happened. So don't be like me. It's something you can definitely invest in. These are great. They're made by Homebrewer Labs. There's a lot of other floating dip tubes on the market. These are by far the best. 100% stainless, dual filter screen. I don't remember the microns of what it is, but there's the outside one that filters out the big chunks. The one inside of that is actually a smaller micron density, hole size, whatever. These things are impossible to clog. And they're really easy to install. You basically get the floating dip tube. We'll have a link below if you want to purchase it. That is an affiliate link. It does help us. I recommend putting these in all of your kegs. I actually have all of my homebrew style kegs, the big 5-gallon ones. All of them have the floating dip tube. Stupid me. I only bought one for my iGulu kegs, and I should have bought more. I will be investing in more for it, but it's super easy. You'll trim up the tube to make it a little bit shorter, because these are designed for the 5-gallon kegs. You'll attach it to the lid, and they go inside the keg. And that's basically it. The other benefit, because it is a floating dip tube, not only is it filtering out whatever you want to throw into flavor, whatever you're making, be it beer or other things, because it's floating, it'll float to the very, very top of your keg, which means from your first pour to your very, very last pour, you're getting nothing but the cleanest and the clearest beer or whatever beverage you are using. So even if you move the keg around and it kind of stirs up that sediment, and sometimes you get a couple pours or maybe a little cloudy, not with this. This is an investment I highly recommend. I think they're like 20, 25 bucks, which is basically the cost of, or less than, having to buy a new lid. So it's definitely something I recommend investing in. Thank you so much for watching our video on troubleshooting the iGulu keg clogging issue. Let me know in the comments below if you've experienced this, if our method actually helps you to recover some of your lids, if you've got better techniques, or if you figured out how to open that thing up to clean it. We would love to know. We'd love to make a video on it to let our viewers know and other iGulu users know how to fix that stuff as well. Also, don't forget to check out our podcast, the Hot Break Craft Beer Cast, available on all podcast suppliers, Spotify, Apple, not Google. I think Google went away, but definitely check it out. It's a good episode, especially the 30th. It was our anniversary episode, and we had a lot of fun making it. Catch you later, my friends.